Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break. With your hosts, Unhero.
And everyone's titty much broadly fit chased.
Kahlo.
You don't need help to get drunk.
Juxtaposition.
What are you calling drunk? You're not drunk, I'm drunk.
Escalia.
40 ounce in my lap and it's freezing my junk.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I hurt. Shut up.
Where is everyone?
I think I'm gonna puke. No, I'm not. I think I'm okay.
Oh, shut up.
Are you the only one here? Is it just us?
Noises.
Is it just you and me? I don't see anyone. What happened? What did we record? What part are we on? Where are we?
I'm in the fucking studio?
Yeah. The mics are here. We've been rolling for hours. So hi.
Oh, my head.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio. The Hangover edition, I guess. It hurts. So everyone.
Oh, God. Stop.
Okay, what?
Yeah, it's time to get up. Come on. Alright, so hi. Well, welcome to, I guess part 3? Let's assume the only thing we have left up is emails, so I'm assuming that this is part 3.
Great. Emails, then the... Okay.
What happened to Escalia and Juxta?
I don't know.
They're just gone.
I don't know. I'm not made to function like this.
I hope everyone enjoyed our drunk nonsense for 2 episodes. So let's read some emails, I guess.
Hold on, more beer.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Alright, emails.
Why is this first one so long?
What the? No, emails, not fucking novels.
It's so long.
Oh.
It's so long.
Alright, you got this, you want me?
I got it, I guess. Dear LBRARR, I've been a long-time listener and I wanted to ask you guys about translation from FF11 to 14. I'm thinking about transitioning because of things like worrying about population drops in FFXI, and several of my LS mates have been leaving the game for other games, including FF14. I'm a little bit nervous about making the transition to FF14 because I'm worried that it just won't be the same kind of experience that I'm used to. What I mean by that is that I've heard FF14 has way more in common with World of Warcraft than FFXI. Now I've also played World of Warcraft for a number of years too, but I never really enjoyed my time in that game as much as I did FFXI. So I'm a little bit concerned about a few things. First, I'm concerned when it comes to events. I've watched a few videos of people doing things like hard mode Ifrit and stuff, and I hear that, like World of Warcraft, a lot of content is actually intended to be super easy, so everyone and their uncle can get their gear super quick. With only a small handful of content actually being challenging, and only a small section of the player base actually getting in to see the harder content. But my concern isn't simply with things that are too easy. For example, from what I've watched of Ifrit and other content, they seem to behave a lot like typical WoW raid bosses. don't stand in the bad stuff, kill ads, move out of the way, etc., etc. And that only really bothers me when in compared to how FFXI did its content, especially when you also pile on this idea that everything is just about having better item level gear than the content than any real teamwork as part of your group. For example, in FFXI, there were events like Salvage in which you couldn't out gear because Pathos took your gear away temporarily. Wow, this is a really long email, and that brings me to my second concern. Which is
hold on. All
right.
This is
we could start there.
Point by point. This.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
First thing he asked that I remember is he's worried it's not going to be the same. Well, it's not. And that goes for anything you play. If you want it to be the same thing that you're playing, then you don't want another game. Just play what you're playing.
Right.
So absolutely, it's going to be different. But the unique thing about FF4... Oh, I should put these things on.
Maybe.
The unique thing about FF14 is the fact that you can see and tell all the different things that the development team has taken from different games. There are obviously things that do give it a Final Fantasy XIV feel. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's things from Guild Wars that if you've played that, you can see the Guild Wars thing. And honestly, the only real thing that I've ever felt like they've taken from WoW is just the button style. Which, honestly, if you play with clicking or buttony things, the control and the alt, then it's more or less fucking macros anyhow.
Yeah.
You have anything to say on that particular point?
I've been struggling to exactly put my finger on what I liked about FFXI more than I like about 14, because I do agree. I agree in the abstract that I was way more into the world of FF11 than I am 14. I was way more invested in that world. But at the same time, I also want to acknowledge things, like variables, like, we didn't get our hands on FFXI until, at least almost 2 years into its public release and development. That kind of stuff, I feel like the games are so different that it's really hard to compare. Like for example, like Ascalia, he really enjoyed Dragoon in 11, but hates it in 14. And I feel like it's almost unfair to make the comparison between the two jobs because they're just, the games operate so differently that you could tell that when Square Enix created the jobs, they were trying to put roles into more of a defined space. When 14 first came out and we only had classes and any ability was assignable across any job, it was definitely a unique MMO environment, but I don't think it was one that anyone really particularly liked. So they had to find ways to sort of control it and rein it in and put classes into a box, DPS, tank, heal, whatever it is, and force the development in that direction. I don't know how you could if someone was really into playing a tank class in 11, they may not be into playing tank in 14.
Well, I think what it is honestly what makes this a unique game when it comes to comparing it to its predecessor is people aren't comparing them how you normally would. Like if I were to give you a tank class from World of Warcraft and a tank class from Guild Wars, what you're going to do is you're going to compare them, based on their merits and whatnot. Whereas if you take a tank, a paladin from FF11 and a paladin from FF14, you're not going to compare them based on their merits. You're going to compare them about how they're different.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really unique in this sense.
That's true.
He doesn't like the new Dragoon because it doesn't play like the old Dragoon.
Right.
Concentration is hard. I had another point. Fuck. Yeah, okay.
Gone?
Yep. Did you have anything else on that particular point?
No, I mean, I do understand what this person is saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I've also been to that place where I'm like, it's just not the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm also a little bit more forgiving and willing to give it a pass and let it try to be its whatever it's going to be.
It shouldn't be the same.
Right. Exactly.
One of the bottom line for this particular point, if what's holding you back is you're afraid it's not going to be the same, it's not. But it shouldn't be. It's a different game.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't give it a try, right? If you like FF11 and you don't want anything different, then stay with FF11.
But he does. But he brings up a great point.
Exactly.
That FF11 is a game that isn't really playable anymore because of the population.
That's true. I remember the point that I forgot. You mentioned that for you, FF11, you were more invested in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if you mean at the end or just even at this point when you played this. Obviously, you spent more time in 11 than you have in 14.
Sure.
If that's the reason why you were more invested in Vana'diel, or if it's actual things that they did, because right now, I feel like I'm more invested in Eorzea than I ever was in Vana'diel.
Really? That's interesting.
I think so. Now I think that in general and on a whole, if you were to break it down to specific things, nothing in Eorzea yet compares to what I went through emotionally with Chains of Promathia, the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, it is the second most... It's the way that it affected me, it's like the second most profound.
Okay.
So, yeah. I still think it has time, though, because obviously, we've been playing 14. I've been playing 14 for less than a year.
Right.
So it still has time.
Yeah.
But that was just that point that I forgot and remembered. So
yeah, I don't know what it is, and I think, and I said this. I think I said this on the show yesterday. But I think at least some of it has to do with age. I was what, like 17 years old when I picked up FF11, you know what I mean? And just to have that, 11, 12 year difference, I'm never going to see this world the same way that I saw.
And you won't. You won't.
Yeah, it can't.
Nothing compares to your first time.
That's true. Well, and I mean, I think back to Ultima Online, and I miss the days of Ultima Online.
Has anything in FF11 ever compared to how you felt playing Ultima Online?
Absolutely not, because there was FF11 was a narrative driven game, as is 14. Ultima Online had no narrative. You were adding to the narrative of this world just by being an inhabitant and being yourself.
So unless a game really brings something new to the table,
right.
The way that I felt when I saw the Craig, the first Craig, nothing's going to compare to that, right?
Right.
But the first time in World of Warcraft that I did a dungeon styled the way that it is, never felt anything like that before, because at that point FF11 didn't really have anything similar to that.
Yeah, right? I could see that.
So,
I could see that.
Yeah,
having the big interactions and
where it's just like literally dropping you in a dungeon and you have like this heroic push that you're doing to the end. Nothing's quite felt like that.
And I'm sure just the scale of it too, because World of Warcraft operated on such a much larger scale in terms of numbers of players than 11 ever did. And I think that's another thing that sort of bums me out a little bit about 14, although I do understand why, is that they don't have that mass content yet. They don't have that, what was the largest number of players that you could have in a raid in WoW?
Well, back before I played, it was 40, but currently 25.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's nothing, and I understand that there's only so many character models that you can have on screen and stuff like that, and there's only logistically there's only so big that you can build the battles. But that is, I do feel like a campaign style event or something like that is inherently missing from 14.
Well, I mean, obviously they have fates.
Yeah, there's fates,
but there's not really a whole lot of structure to fates.
Well, and with the adjustment that they did in 2.1, not many people are doing fates. So yeah, At first, I really liked that change when they boosted the XP from dungeons.
Absolutely.
And now I'm not so sure.
Well,
because of the amount of people that are not.
Sometimes
doing
you have to
things.
find that middle ground. I was talking to Juxta about this at some point, and really the only thing that Fates need at this point, because depending on what jobs you have, if there's just a few of you. When you have the Fates where it's just a bunch of mobs, like hordes of mobs, those are still doable. It's the boss ones that you have trouble with. So they need to find a way to either make scale bosses to a few people better, or they need to start adding in stronger NPCs so that when other people aren't helping you, it's not you versus insurmountable odds.
Right.
What was his second point in his email?
Yes, going back to the email. And that brings me to my second point, which is Duty Finder. In FFXI, you had to work with your LS or in shouts with people on your server, and couldn't really be a huge jerk to people or be self-centered or anything because doing so would hurt your reputation on that server. Duty Finder, however, throws all of that out the window, especially if you're queuing up solo. Since you're grouping with strangers at that point, there will always be a ton of horror stories surrounding World of Warcraft's equivalent, the Dungeon and Raid Finder, where there were a ton of arguments, pointing fingers, raging at every mistake made, calling people the N-word or F-words, and all sorts of horrible things. So the Duty Finder worried me because it allows the same type of abuse to potentially crop up in FF14, and it could allow people and it could leave people to being scared that everyone will not pull their weight in content and lead to what happens with WoW in Endgame. Wow, this is a really long sentence. Where they'll demand an item level and gear that they or they won't invite you, and that the item level requirement is usually way higher than the content in question, just to make it easy. So okay, I do. Okay, now I understand what you're getting at, and it's true. Duty Finder, when you're queuing up with random people, can be bad.
How is that any different to shouting for random people?
It's not.
The Duty Finder is just a faster way to do what you're going to do. All of those things that you have, all of those gripes or concerns about Duty Finder, all right, yeah, sure, they could all happen. They could all happen if you're just shouting for people too. All it does is puts you in quicker.
But there is that point that they make about reputation and how you had your reputation on the server, and that's true.
No,
I mean, think about. I mean, I'm sure that we can all think of the bad players, but think of the really good players that had really good reputations as like a dynamite tank or a bomb-ass DD on a server. I don't know that you can do that anymore.
Unfortunately, that's the one thing that eventually, hopefully, Square Enix will add something play online like, where you can have a friends list, you can do cross-server things.
Yeah, that would be nice.
The other thing you have to realize, too, is there's no one forcing you to use Duty Finder. Find yourself a good free company, put friends on your friends list, be sociable, and make your own groups, and then you completely cut out all of those concerns.
That's true. Really, Duty Finder is just an option. And I do want to point out that with the reputation system, with, giving the thing at the end of the commendations, with the commendation thing, it actually helped quite a bit. Yeah, because people really, I mean, there might be a point where commendations just kind of become worthless. There's nothing that people will want out of getting commendations, and then they'll go right back to being dicks again. But that actually that'll make dicks shut up and people be nicer. Like it's helped. I've noticed
in light parties. Yes. The only time that I see people really getting really dicky at each other now is sometimes still in Crystal Tower. But that's when you have multiple dicks just being assholes to each other. So it's less them attacking, the people who aren't deserving of it.
Right. Yeah.
One other point that I noticed in the email that he was worried about or wanted to touch on is that the battles are more akin to what they are in WoW. When instead of things being random, and we might have talked about this a little bit last night. Now it's just pattern dies, and as long as people stay out of the bad and blood, and that's true, unfortunately.
Yes, we were talking about that, the randomized thing,
but that doesn't mean that there isn't any form of teamwork in it. If one or two people go down, you do still have to work together and have some level of combat synchronization. I don't know if that's a thing. It sounds good though.
Yeah.
Combat synchronization. But no, and honestly, my bottom line for the whole thing is FF14 is a great game. There is a lot of stuff that's different from 11, but again, as it should be. For me, what really draws me in and what really makes it feel like a Final Fantasy, despite the fact that there are some elements of WoW to it, there are some elements of Guild Wars to it, etc., is the story. And once you get in and you start diving into that story, I don't think that you will have any second thoughts. And the other thing about this that's really kept me going is that I have so many friends to play with. I just had one or two in World of Warcraft, and our schedules didn't really line up, so a lot of the time I felt like I was playing by myself.
Sure, yeah.
And now...
That's how I felt with 1.0.
Exactly.
Is I didn't have anyone to play with, and that I would just log on and do... At that point, really, all there was to do was guild leaves.
Right, so, now I got you guys, I got, some friends from WoW, and there's just a lot more people, and there's always somebody on at some point, and I don't feel like I'm alone anymore. So if you have some people who have left 11... to go to 14, you really have nothing to lose trying it out, except for the $30 that it costs to buy it.
Yeah, to get or wait till it's on sale on PSN or Amazon or something.
Exactly.
It seems to be happening more and more.
Who's the email from?
They didn't sign it
at all.
They didn't sign it
anywhere.
We read this huge long email.
Hold on. It's from Mr. McGee. Okay. Well, Mr. McGee, we'll call him.
All right.
So, Mr. McGee, wait for it to go on sale if you don't have the $30 to drop, and just give it a try. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, definitely. I think that any FF11 player will be able to find something that they enjoy about 14 if they're open to it enough. If they're not expecting 11, you know what I mean? I think,
no, absolutely.
I think if you're just open to being a part of a new Final Fantasy themed MMO, that'll come across way better than having all of these expectations built up from 11.
Definitely.
It is what it is.
And it ain't what it ain't.
Right.
Maker's Mark.
So thank you for your email, Mr. McGee. This one comes from and they included a pronunciation
of their name
guide. So
great. Thank you.
Ye
of little faith.
This email comes from Amina Ravane of Excalibur. So
where's the name at?
Amina Ravane.
Oh, come on. We could have told that is pronounced Amina.
But you know what? It's just a good thing for all of our emailers.
This email comes from Amina. It still sounds the same. See, you can't even mess that name up if you tried.
I'm sure that I could if I really tried. Dear LBR crew, really glad to see that you guys are back. Unfortunately, I only heard about your show after you guys had stopped the first time and after I quit XI, but listened to the archives. Listening to the archives made me relive all the good times I had on XI. I was thrilled to hear that LBR was coming back for 14 and now eagerly await each new episode since you guys never fail to make me laugh. I'm also curious which parts of 2.2 you are looking forward to and which parts do you think will be like some of the things in patch 2.1 that sound good but ultimately fail. And if you don't mind, I would like to know the moments in game that made you laugh the most. Also, don't know what Juxta's issue with Y'shtola is. I even have a huge girl crush on her. Again, glad you guys are back. So thank you very much, Amina.
Yeah, Juxta, what the F? You're so dumb. Y'shtola's awesome.
He's not here.
I know, so he can't fight back.
No, he can't. So thanks for your email. I don't know. What about 2.2 are you looking forward to the most?
Do we have a list that we can look at really quick? Can you pull that up?
That was all of last night. No, we did that.
I don't remember talking about new stuff. Can you just get a list really quick?
Yeah, I got a list right here. So, Leviathan, Andapur Township, Binding Coil of Bahamut, Thorn March Extreme, which is that would be
Extreme mode Mog Moogle.
Yeah, Moogle Mog. There are hard versions of Brayflox and Halatali coming out. New Beast Tribes for Beast Tribe quest for Kobold and Sahagin. There we go. New Hillebrand side quest. New Allegan Tombstones. Glamours, which is I guess the new name for the Vanity system. New advanced crafting recipes. New fishing challenges and new statistician hairstyles. That's the quick list.
A lot of that is really just new stuff for things we already have.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm most looking forward to is being able to change what I'm wearing without like the vanity base. I think it's cool to be able to every few weeks if you want to have new armor look. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Sure. One of the things that always bothered me in MMOs is like when you would have, you want the best in slot, but wearing the best in slot looks fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've always hated that. So that'll be a good feature. And as for as much as I've made fun of it, I'd probably still use it. I think the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is the new Binding Coil of Bahamut content, because I really want to see where gear progression is going. Where do they intend to? Are we going to start seeing eye level 95 gear? And I'm really curious about how they're going to do the new tombstones. I really liked your idea last night of taking stuff that's in myth tomes already, like maybe just start at the accessories and move those to philo tomes.
Because the other thing you have to realize too is if you just keep coming out with new accessories, do you have any idea how big that challenge gap is going to be for new players?
Yeah.
First they have to get Darklight, then they have to go through CT, then they have to get myth tomes, and then they can start getting the new myth tomes.
Yeah.
And it'll be easier to close that gap if they just cycle things down.
Oh no, I totally agree. I also think that they should make philo tome items materiable.
Absolutely.
Once they're at 100%, because I just have so many fucking philo tomes.
I never understood either the concept behind the fact that, okay, some stuff can be converted, some stuff can't. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's things that there's no other way to get, like artifact armor, for example, which apparently there is still a way to get more of it.
Okay,
yeah, like there's a vendor or something. But anyway, so key stuff like that I can understand. Or
sure.
CT drops, because then people will keep on rolling on things. That I understand too. But things that I'm buying myself that I have no competition with, such as Darklight gear, come on.
Yeah, dude, if I could convert some of that into materia and...
Like, I've started collecting Darklight gear. Like, I've almost bought every accessory, period.
Yeah, same here. Because what else do you do with the fucking philo tomes, man? What else? I mean, what? Do you sell mats?
You could.
You could, but you're not going to make that much on it.
No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what else to do with them.
So, yeah. And, all right, so then... What thing do we think is not going to pan out?
It's not going to pan out.
Now, I don't know if I'd say it's not going to pan out, but Nero and I had a short. I think it was me and you. It was either me and you or me and Juxta about primals and how it was your Juxta was concerned that they're just going to keep bringing more and more primals, and don't we have enough?
Well, but we already know what the primals that we're building toward are.
Yeah, and now, see, I have no problem with more primals.
Just reinforced by the story.
Yeah, I think every time they come out with a new primal, that's cool. But then they need to find a way to spice it up. Like Leviathan's next. And so I'm like, all right, so what? Is it at content release? Just like, all right, now you have a normal Leviathan you have to beat in story mode, then a hard Leviathan you have to beat, then in extreme mode. Like, every single time, it's going to be the exact same thing.
No, I think there is no normal mode. I think there's just hard mode and extreme mode.
Because when you come out with a new dungeon, dungeons are different enough to where it doesn't just feel like something's being rehashed. But with the primals, it's just like, all right, boom, you're in a circle thing, and now you fight them through their phases.
Right.
And a lot of the mechanics are even repeated. Like, we call the strength of earth or whatever plumes because they're really the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with a Leviathan fight, but just for future, with the primals, I'd like to see some really different mechanics so that it doesn't just seem like, oh, deal with this the same way that you did in Garuda, in Ifrit, in Titan.
Well, I'm kind of curious. Okay, so right now it exists where you've got the 3 extreme mode primals, and if you beat all 3 of them, you get to choose one of those level 90 weapons. So what happens when you throw Leviathan in there? Is there now a second tier of extremes that you'll have to clear to get another item? Or do you now have to clear all 4 of them to get the item? How did they add that to the existing loot structure and still make it equitable for all the players? You know what I mean?
I don't see them updating it to be like you now have to fight all 4.
I can't either, because that would be some bullshit.
It would, but what they could do is obviously, Leviathan's going to have its own items that it drops. Maybe what they could do is add on, some type of quest thing, right, to where it's the next step, so you can upgrade your extreme primal weapon, or even upgrade your relic a little further, so that those suddenly aren't completely outdated.
Yeah, Well, that I imagine that is what they are going to do with the relic weapons in the future.
Quick idea too that I had about how you could make a Leviathan battle different from everything else. You instead of just being like, boom, here's the arena, now fight. Is in my head, I just imagine that, imagine instead of a circle, you have like a long path that goes down, right? And at the beginning of the fight, Leviathan summons a tidal wave. So you're on a timer, right? And as you're fighting him, you have to fight along this long path, like he moves further and further down it. And you got this tidal wave that's coming along behind you. So if you take too long, you literally get flooded out. Like a gauntlet sort of thing.
Right. Well, this is a screenshot of the battle arena right here. So that's definitely not what it is.
No.
It seems to be just like a floating platform, and I think Leviathan's going to end up coming out of the middle, and you'll fight him in the middle.
Yep. Cool. So what about you? What do you think might fall flat on its face?
I agree. I think that the new primal fight might not be what everyone hopes. But I sort of like I don't know. I don't see people doing extreme mode Ultima or hard mode Ultima very often. So I kind of think that extreme mode Moogle might be like the rewards just won't justify anyone going there. I don't know.
I don't know. It drops weapons, right?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think as long as you have things like, the relic weapon or the extreme mode primal weapons, and as easier as, I mean, that's not necessarily easy for some people, but they're not hard to get if you put a little bit of work into it.
Right.
Considering how difficult it can be, difficult's not the right word, but considering how long it can sometimes take to get that one drop you need from primals or from Moogle, because it takes so damn long. Like, I've done Ifrit like 15 times.
Right.
I've seen the bow once, which Davey got, and the other 14 times was the fucking book.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, and not, dude,
maybe it's just really bad luck, but that makes me like I don't want to do those.
But here's the thing.
I would rather just have a dark light weapon until I get my relic.
Here's the thing that kind of confuses me about Moogle, where they place it in the story. The rewards that you get from Moogle are a level 75 weapon or 80 weapon. I mean, it's very low. I'm pretty sure that they're lower than the primal weapons. And I kind of want to look that up.
I've never had a primal weapon.
I can't remember. I can't remember where. No, I mean, we're talking hard mode primal weapons. Like, those are, I think, level 70.
Yeah,
not the extreme.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So I think it's level 75. So it's just one, like a small step above the hard mode weapons. But if you've got your relic quest active, when you clear all of the hard mode, primals, you get your relic weapon.
Exactly.
So what's the point of having it in that? You know what I mean? Like, where it is in the storyline, you should be well beyond the rewards that it's giving you. And I think that that's kind of fucked up.
I completely get it. And I actually think that way about the hard mode weapons.
Right.
Like I said, I had a dark light weapon until I got my relic, but it's 3 wins.
Right.
You know, why should I spend, 15, 20 times, unless I get lucky, doing, Ifrit or Garuda, and Titan weapon is just the most ridiculous, because if you beat the first two and you beat Titan, why repeat Titan for a weapon when you just got your relic?
Yeah.
Unless you're farming for some other reasons and you're just getting them for ults.
But I think that's why you see less Titan weapons than any other primal weapon. For sure.
Yeah.
So I think I mean, I do think that the rewards will drive the interest in the content. So, whatever the rewards end up being from extreme mode Moogle Mog, that'll be the deal breaker. But I kind of see that one being in the same camp as hard mode Ultima. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I am looking forward to the new hard mode dungeons. I've really enjoyed going back to Hawk Manor and Copperbell Mines. Those two hard mode dungeons have been awesome. So I think those could be good. But yeah, the thing that I'm most looking forward to is seeing how they plan to do the next tier of gear, basically. Is it going to be item level 100? Are we going to get a lateral move to where we can spec out our classes differently? Because right now, if I wanted to spec my warrior to do damage, I can't do that.
Yep.
Because I can't even equip a lot of that stuff. All of the stuff that I can equip is, I can have, like striking accessories, but if I wanted gear that geared me towards damage,
that's one of the things. One of the final, things that drove me to quit WoW was I was just getting so sick of, all right, new patch, all new gear. All right, new patch, all new gear. Oh, new expansion, all new gear. And I wish that the lifespan of gear was a little bit better. So every time that there was a new patch, it wasn't just now I'm replacing everything.
Right. Totally.
I mean, we talk about FF11, Sky, there were certain pieces of Sky gear that even at the end,
at the end of like TOAU or Wings of the Goddess,
usable.
Yeah, absolutely. They were situational,
exactly.
But it seemed like End Body is a great example of this, because it was wanted by anyone who could DD, any DD class that could equip it. It was high competition, low drop rate, and
I concede to the fact that it's the times that we live in now, and this is just the way that MMOs are. But I wish that the lifespan of the gear was just a little bit longer, so it didn't feel like I had to replace everything all at once.
Right? Yeah. No, I agree. All right. This email comes from they used to be Malor Frey Jr., but or Frazier. I don't know how they want me to pronounce that. I think they provided a pronunciation guide once, and I just don't remember. But they've changed their name now to Anselhelm Walder, and now reside on the Sargentana server.
All right. Well, tell us what they have to say, because we're listening.
Greetings, LBR team, once known as Milor Frey Jr., whatever. I'm afraid I've had to drop that alias due to the FFL that I'm going to share today. I'll keep this brief, as we know that time is Gil, and Kahlo clearly has the right idea when it comes to that philosophy. Enjoying the life, have a tank at 50, wife's a healer at 50. We start endgame content, shit gets serious. Totally rocking it. She scores a new job at Netflix, suddenly up and quits the game for that and many other reasons. Just touching the tip of the iceberg with Garuda hard mode and gearing for it, yet failing AK and Wanderer's Palace repeatedly due to shitty DPS and whatnot. Wife feels like it's a waste of time, drops the game, but you're not allowed to touch this character, FMFFL. On the plus side, Laserbeam Raptors now has an old fart to remind kids to get off their lawn. Anselhelm Walder is what I shall be known as from here on out.
I know that guy.
Yeah. Looking forward to helping you take down content and deal with shit as it comes since my married life is no longer in game. On a side note, the hilarity for Escalia's skit was perfect. Thank you. I'll take credit for that.
You're welcome.
From my perspective, he's being friend zoned by every chick there since they think he's one of them. Oh, I get it. That's I like that interpretation. From a role playing perspective, that's golden, and he doesn't quite realize it. So he signs the letter. Love the show. Get off my lawn, Anselhelm Walder. So thank you, and welcome to the Laser Beam Raptors army. Cool. Cool.
Should put a raptor sound effect in there.
I don't know that I have one.
Find one.
I'm sure I could.
Clever
girl. All right. This email comes to us from Icarus Fact of Hyperion. Coming to bug us all again. Listening to you guys discuss ideas for new dungeon mechanics was really entertaining for me. I'm hoping that it could be a new regular topic / feature for the show. I'll give you one of my crappy ideas to tear apart if interested. Alliance A would consist of the usual makeup: 4 DPS, 2 heals, 2 tank, while Alliance B would be a mix of Disciples of Hand and Land. Alliance B would basically play as a combination of Metal Gear Solid sneaking stealth, Hitman multiple choices, and tower defense traps and cannons like CT. They would run alongside each other but not actually together. Think of Alliance B as scouting as a scouting party, while Alliance A is on the front lines distracting the main forces. Not a bad idea.
He's given us permission to tear this apart, so I'm going to say, including Hand of the Disciple, that part's dumb. The last thing, the Alliance C thing, where people sort of, I kind of like that idea. Like Alliance C does, instead of combat things, they're tackling more puzzle-like stuff, and how well they do affects the strength of the monsters Alliance A is fighting.
Ooh, okay. That's not a bad
interesting.
idea.
So that's interesting. The miners and botanists thing, though, that's dumb. Time is Gil, and we don't have a lot of it, so don't waste our time with stupid things like that. But the other part, yes, that's good. I like that.
But that was the original concept for this game, is that when you would go into dungeons, you would take somebody that has
tell me this.
You know, a blacksmith or an armor.
You're right. Okay, tell me this. How well did the original concept of the game work out?
I know that, but I'm just saying it was there as a core concept, and I don't think that it's necessarily a bad idea. Having you know, like a mining class, you know, like having a mining portion of the dungeon, I think that would be kind of interesting.
Just halfway through the dungeon, all right, guys, break out your pickaxes. We got to take this wall down.
No.
They tried that in FF11. It was called assaults.
They take a completely different path. Oh, yeah, I see what you did there.
But then the problem that you have there, and it's what we originally thought might be a downfall of CT, is if you have a shitty group, currently in CT, except for, say, the Atmos section, if one of those groups is really shitty, the other ones can pick up the slack.
That's true.
Whereas in something like this, where they are literally completely divergent from each other, you know, imagine an entire dungeon that's like Atmos, where if there's a shitty-ass group and they're not kicking people, you're fucked.
No, I agree that it would, but I think it would also be really interesting if they split the 3 alliances so that you can't even see what Alliance B or C is doing. You know what I mean?
I think it would be more annoying than anything because, again, I'm going to come back to Atmos because that's obviously the only thing we can really compare it to.
Right.
You know, how many times you have to sit there and be like, all right, guys, you know, we're waiting on you.
Not that often.
And if you can just keep on going all the way till the end, you know, and they're not holding you up, well, then you have to wait at the end to get gear. Like, we have to wait for a C to finish before we can see our treasure. And if the answer is no, then aren't you just all 3 doing dungeons simultaneously? Why make it a raid? Why not just split them up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the concept of it, sure, is an interesting idea, but I don't see any way how it could be executed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a game developer, so I wouldn't have the answer to that question.
Yeah,
so.
Come on, whoever you are. We're gamers. We're gamers, Jim, not developers. Did I do that right? I've never really seen Star Trek.
No, I haven't either.
I seen a cool one that remember Bootstrap?
Yes.
All right, so she shared something on her because she's a big Trekkie fan on her Facebook page a while ago. That was the groundhog dressed up in a red shirt. And he goes, "Damn it, I'm a rodent, Jim, not a meteorologist." Because of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I get it.
Hilarious.
I get it. So thank you very much, Icarus. Appreciate it.
Icarus fact.
Yay.
More like Icarus false. Fiction. Not true.
You want to take another shot at that?
What's the opposite? What's the opposite of fact? Did I get it?
No, you got it.
Okay.
It took a couple of tries.
I'm channeling straight juxtaposition today.
Oh man. So that's it. That's all our emails.
That was all?
That was it.
Okay, can we go back to bed? I'm so tired.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Nobody's vomited yet.
That's fortunate. Mm-hmm. That's fortunate. Yeah, I guess it could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Was Kyle here last night?
Kyle was here.
Kyle was here. Where'd he go?
Everyone left.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Where's your cat?
Somewhere.
Are you sure? The cat didn't leave too?
He better not. He's not an outside cat.
Okay.
There's a lot of snow out there.
There's a lot of fucking snow outside.
There's more snow outside. There was more.
All right, do the outro.
All right. I want to thank you guys for taking a listen to us today. I'm not sure if we got to the third hour. 50 minutes out of the third hour.
50 minutes.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It can be done with two people when it's the best of them and a Nero.
Remember that part where it was just me and Juxta last night? That was hard. That was not good.
Oh, great.
Oh my God, Juxta outroed the second part of the episode.
Did
Do
he?
you remember that?
I don't remember anything.
I remember that. I barely
Kyle?
remember. Kyle! Thank you to Kyle and Katie who ended up...
And Katie!
Coming and hanging out for portions of the show.
We were so drunk.
Yeah, we were. We were very drunk. We apologize for our drunk ramblings.
Fuck you, I don't. I do what I want. I'm sure that was comedy gold.
Well, I'll listen to it later today and find out, I guess.
Okay.
So check us out on the web, www.limitbreakradio.com. Follow us on Twitter. You can now follow us at Limit Break Radio, no longer LBR Prod. Because you can change your username.
Who told you that you could do that?
You did.
I was right?
You were.
I was right, guys.
So follow us on Twitter at Limit Break Radio. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Limit Break Radio. Like us on there. I'm trying to think what else. We're on Stitcher. We've got a new feed on iTunes, so it would be...
Oh my God!
What?
I have another FMFFL.
What? Oh God.
Yes. Okay, so I've been trying to get my relic for a while, and Jux is trying to get his relic, and then Davey, surprise, surprise, actually got max level in an MMO.
Wow.
And he got geared.
No.
And he needed his relic too. So
Lies.
since the three of us needed relic, we just needed a Titan win, so we all put together Titan, right? And Nero's helping, and Nika's helping, and her husband Surin is helping, and they get, I think, someone from their LS to help.
Yeah.
And Keldall's helping. So we have a whole big group here going, right?
Right.
And we're going at it, and we finally look like we're going to win, and my fucking power dies.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I remember that.
1 hour.
Yeah.
My power dies. They get the win.
Yep.
They have their relics, and I get shit.
But...
I was so depressed.
But... Like...
Later, we did end up getting it.
3 or 4 days later?
3 or 4 days later, we did end up getting it. So I wanted to give a special thanks to Nika and Surin and Nero and Juxta and Keldall and Davey and the bard from Nika's friend who helped us. I don't remember her name.
I can't remember her. It was something really clever.
Yeah, but whoever you are, thank you, everybody, for helping me get the staff and stuff.
Glowy staff.
That was stupid.
You made a glowy, right?
Of course it's glowy.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I did.
Good.
HQ or GTFO. All right, that's it.
All right. LimitBreakRadio.com, Facebook, like us, Twitter, follow us.
All the things.
iTunes feedback. Leave us reviews on iTunes. That would be good. We've got a whole new feed. If you just want to subscribe to the FF14 episodes and you don't want the big archive of 11 episodes from Limit Break Radio, you can subscribe to our 14 exclusive feed. That's it. But also, give us a little bit of love on iTunes, because that really helps us remain visible. Share us with your free company. Spread our name around.
Shove it down their throats.
Yes. Tell people you don't like random duty finder parties. It doesn't matter. Send them all here at limitbreakradio.com. So that's it for Kalo Landis. I want to thank you for joining me for the third part, as well as Juxtaposition and Escalia Ryu Masa. I am Aniro. Keep listening.
Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Final Fantasy XIV is a trademark of Square Enix. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at Facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV covers at Facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.